What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and today I wanted to talk about one of the two conferences that has been very weak this season. It's the East. I want to talk about the Eastern Conference. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Now, obviously, the number one seed in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. I think they're the favorite to win the NBA championship right now. So, besides the Boston Celtics, I don't think the East looks all that strong. At number 2, we have Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee is cool. I think offensively, Milwaukee is a really good team. And obviously, they're going on a skid right now. That's without Giannis. So, I'm not going to put this too much in their favor or put that skid too much on their resume. I'm not going to let that hold too much weight because Giannis has been out. But either way, with Doc Rivers as the coach, the Bucks haven't looked good. They still suck on defense. They added Pat Bev, but that really didn't address too much. They still aren't good on defense. They're still not. They've lost to a lot of bad teams, though, to be honest. So I kind of do have to address who they've been losing to, because didn't they lose to like the Grizzlies and the Wizards? It's bad. It's really bad. And they've lost, let's check right now. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 6 out of the last 10. I'm not impressed by Milwaukee this season. I expected a lot more out of Damian Lillard, especially. Dame has not been too eccentric to me this season. I think Dame has been very pedestrian compared to what I thought he was going to do when given a co-star of Giannis's caliber. But I guess that happens sometimes. You join forces with somebody and your numbers go down. But honestly, if Dame's efficiency was up, his numbers would look just like they would in Portland. But his shot just isn't hitting as much this year. It just isn't objectively if you go look at his percentages. So that's it for Dame. Honestly, I'm disappointed in Dame and the Bucks. Moving on to Orlando, I think Orlando is good, especially on the defensive end. Orlando is really good, but I don't think they have the pieces to really make a championship run right now. I don't think they're a team that should be going to a conference final. Even I think if that would happen this season, it would be a Cinderella run for the Magic, and they're the 3rd seed. I feel like as a 3rd seed, your odds of going to the conference finals should be a lot higher than Cinderella run, absolutely. But I'm not impressed by the Magic offensively. I like their guard play in terms of the energy they bring, but they definitely could use better guards. So I feel like Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, they're decent players. I don't think they're really good enough for those to be your mainstay guards and for you to make a real push to a conference final, unless Paolo and Franz Wagner are just that nice, but I just really don't see it. As for New York, New York has been very troublesome to really talk about these past couple of weeks, because when fully healthy, I believe New York is probably the 2nd or 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference this season right now, and I don't really see that in them right now because they're just not healthy. Julius Randle is out. He has to get surgery for his shoulder, so he's done. Julius Randle, and that situation I want to speak on a little bit because it pissed me off, the fact that he's been injured for so long and didn't get the surgery because he's trying to find a way to come back faster. And it's just like, dude, if you would have gotten your surgery rehabbed, and you could have been back for the playoffs instead of just delaying it so long. But I know other stuff goes into that process, but just knowing how long he's been hurt for and hearing that just now he's getting surgery is so crazy to me. It says it's a re-injury, actually, so maybe that had something to do with it. He re-injured it more recently, and had to go get surgery for it now. But either way, that sucks for New York. You really do hate to see a player like that go out. A lot of New York fans are going to say, but Julius Randle sucks in playoffs anyway. Very true, but we're not going to act like that's not a loss either way. OG is also hurt right now. He's trying to rehab his elbow that got inflamed back up, so hopefully he can come back soon as well. But yeah, as it stands, I believe OG should be coming back for the playoffs, but regardless, they're still going to be hobbled. I feel like this is a season that for the Knicks should have been greater, but is being slightly tainted due to injury. I hope they can still get some superhero play from Jalen Brunson and make it pretty far, because I am rooting for the Knicks. Next up, we have Cleveland, and I don't really know how to feel about Cleveland, to be honest. They've gone large stints in the season with like some pretty decent win streaks, but I'm not a big fan of the Garland and Mitchell duo. I'm really not. I don't think they're going to make a huge run this season either. I feel like even the hobbled Knicks could possibly beat the Cavs this season. I think the Magic honestly could beat anybody below them, and I'm just not overall impressed. I don't think they made a super big jump or difference compared to last year, so I'm just kind of on the Cavs. For the Pacers, I honestly am a little disappointed in Tyrese Halliburton because in the beginning of the year, he really looked like he was taking this huge jump and his numbers just have dropped. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's due to injury or what, but ever since Pascal's been there, it just hasn't really looked the same for Reese on a night-to-night basis. I hope that he can just get back up to that 24, 25 point per game range because that really is where he needs 24, 25, and 10. Like I said, still one of the best assist men in the league. Still really, really good player. But if he could get to the 25 and 10 range back up there where he was in the beginning of the year, I think this team will be a huge issue. And I hope Pascal Siakam comes back, right? This is a contract year. Am I wrong? I do hope he stays with the Pacers and they can run this back next year. Maybe build a more cohesive roster. They absolutely need some more defense, but that's another thing. Their defense is atrocious. They're the number one offense and they're the 6th seed because they can't guard nobody. Miami, I have mixed emotions about Miami. I think they could surprise a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised if they went on a run. If Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Bam Adebayo, if they can really start clicking, meshing well, I think they could definitely go on a run. We've seen them go on runs with less. Last year, they didn't even have Tyler Hero. They had Gabe Vincent and Max Strus coming off the bench and coming in, giving contributions. So now they really do have guys who should be playing starting minutes and are good offensively. Terry Rozier is really good offensively. Tyler Hero, really good offensively. Jaime Jaquez Jr., really good offensively. They still have Caleb Martin off the bench. So it's very possible they could make a run. And as a higher seed, I don't want to see them. If I'm the Bucks, I don't want to see Miami. If I'm Orlando or New York, I don't want to see Miami. Honestly, if I'm Boston, I might not want to see Miami. I feel like that's one of the teams in the East that I wouldn't want to face, especially in the first round when we're all just fired up. Everybody is fully just here. And, hey, Miami has been doing it to not only Boston, but also Milwaukee for years at this point. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't count them completely out. Next up, we have the 76ers. And the 76ers are a very interesting case. And honestly, if Joel Embiid did not come back recently, I wouldn't be talking about them right now. But they're good with Embiid. Right now, they're on a 4-game win streak. So he comes back and immediately makes an impact. You see how bad they were throughout the season when he wasn't there. They went from like a 2nd, 3rd seed to now they're in 8th. So that tells you enough. He comes back. They start winning immediately. If Embiid goes into the playoffs looking like nothing happened, then the Sixers are going to be a absolute monster of a team. It's very hard for me to, in good conscience, root for Embiid and say he's going to win because of how he's performed year after year when the big moments come. But I really, truly feel like this season, if he's really not hurt, if he's truly healthy right now, and the Sixers aren't playing and rushing him back, and he's not playing and rushing himself back, that they could really do something this season. I liked how this team operated when they were at full health earlier in the year, and the numbers could back it up. The seeding backed it up. They were really, really good when Embiid played. Embiid probably would have won MVP if he didn't get hurt. So when you bring an MVP caliber player back, I hope he can play at an MVP caliber in the playoffs this year, finally. And maybe they can go on a run. So that's how I feel about all of these teams. And all in all, I feel like only 3 of these teams are really competent. And I'm only really, really confident in one. And I feel like that says a lot about the Eastern Conference this season. I feel like they're just not there. They're a tier below. I saw a graphic that said I think the West had 25 wins over the East this season, and you can see it in the records. It's just not the same. Teams in the play-in would be like 3rd, 4th seeds in the West. So I mean, in the teams in the Western Conference play-in would be 3rd or 4th seeds in the East if you were to swap it over. So I feel like that says enough about how behind the East is this season. Whoa. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. You guys think the East is weaker than the West? What does the East have to do to really get back up to the Western Conference level in terms of the amount of good teams in the conference? Because I don't even know what they should do, to be completely honest with you. But I'll catch y'all in the next one.